They have the knob on the pedal itself. You can adjust from 1 to 10.
Oh, I don't have that knob on mine. If I do, I ain't found it.
Options, right?
You said you're running Club Sport pedal?
No, I've got CSPs. Now remember, the chassis is not going to do everything for you. You may have to adjust that right foot a little bit because the chassis is now doing different things. So use that right foot so you can keep the car planted, get it to where it's driving good with the right foot, and it'll give you an accurate assessment of what you need to make as far as chassis adjustment.
Yeah, I've never adjusted the front caster because I was too afraid I would screw.
There, 33.
That front caster is going to be about the only universal thing you're going to find as far as from track to track. 9 times out of 10, you're going to run it a 3/8 to a 4 and 6/8 to a 7/8, somewhere like that on the left front. 9 times out of 10, that's where that's going to be. So that's one of those adjustments you can kind of, pretty much stick with.
Bottom out huge. Totally different line than everybody.
Yeah, see if you can find a way around the track that you're not bottoming out. See if you can adjust that with where you lift, where you go in the track, the whole 9 yards. Now I'm going to go out here and run a few with it and kind of get the same feel you guys have.
Still feels tight from the middle off in 1 and 2 to me.
Yep, yeah, we're going to fix that, and I know why it's that way too. I can tell you that. I can tell you it was going to be like that from looking at the setup. The left front caster is 6.8. The right front caster is 3.8. But
Yeah, a little tight in the middle, David.
Yep, that's fine. We're zeroing in on it.
I actually feels pretty good. I just backed the corner up just a hair, but my times ain't changing. It's pretty neutral around.
Yeah, I just changed my line a little bit for it. Still slow, but that's me.
Say, if you're running the same times, but you're not having to drive in as deep to do it, you're saving that right front tire, aka the long run comes into effect now. Hey, the little light bulbs going off in your head now.
Loud and clear.
Mine's got a crack in it, but yeah.
Smiling all the way to the bank.
You got a lot of fast cars at Texas next season.
You might as well start calling it the David Cater Cup after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where y'all are getting that feeling from. I've had to back the corner up just a little bit because if I drove in where I was driving in, the thing almost won't turn around on me.
The more laps I put on it, the better it's getting. I'm getting where I can almost back to driving in deep and right back on the throttle.
There you go, and that's what you got to do too. Is every lap you'll adjust what you're doing with the right foot. That's how you can change that setup.
On a lot of the truck setups, I was used to having a softer right front spring than the left front spring. Is that kind of where this is going?
Nah, I don't do that. You're talking about hillbilly and those front springs. I'm not a big fan of it. I will do it on occasion when it deems necessary, but especially at these high bank fast tracks like this, I won't do that, just for the simple fact is you need a little bit more spring in that right front to adjust that weight, and I'll tell you why when we get off the track here in a minute.
It's always given me more grip in the trucks, but in the A car, it was totally different.
All right, guys, play with it for about 2 more minutes, and then we'll clear the track, and I'm going to start winding this up here. We got about another half hour.
Can we stay there right now if we ran a faster time, or are you wanting us to do something special at the end of it?
No. If the car's feeling pretty good to you, save that setup, because you don't want to lose where it's at now.
But with David telling us what to change, you should now be able to go in and change another setup and do the same thing.
I saved it at every step, just trying to back and look.
Just change the title. Just save it and change the title each time.
That's what I did, test 1, test 2, test 3.
Great information. This is literally invaluable. Thank you very much, Dave. You are truly a gentleman for sharing this.
It's my pleasure, guys.
Yeah, I can watch the replay. That's going to be neat. Just listening to it again.
So is it getting recorded?
Yeah, it's being broadcasted.
Hey, Kim, I got like a page and a half of notes here.
Yeah, I got 2 pages myself.
Dang, David, you're going to be a rock star.
iRacing will be looking for him for sure.
Yeah, go race A-Cup, David, and you have a big fan base.
Now, I'll move up to the A car when I feel like I'm ready. I'm probably going to do one more season in the B car next season.
Since this is being recorded, I'm going to leave myself a message from my future self while I'm watching this. Hello, future self.
All right, guys, you can start clearing the track anytime you get ready here. Take a few minutes, and we'll get it quiet here, and I'll kind of start summing this up here.
All right, David, on that last run there, I could actually let off and then go right back to closed throttle the whole time to the corner, then pick it up. Is something doing something wrong?
No, if you're actually able to get more into the throttle quicker and the car still react the same, you know you're going the right way.
Because I literally could just pop the throttle, go right back to closed throttle, and then pick up my progression from there.
That's the whole point. You know you're going in the right direction.
I'm still having problems on entry. It seems like when I saw you run, David, earlier, you were able to start the end of the turn and you were still on the throttle for a little bit as you were going into the turn. I've never been able to do that, and I don't know why.
That may be a driving thing. Sometime or another, if you catch me into a server that's not too crowded or not a lot of things going on, or send me a PM, I can get with you and I can help you with the line a little bit more personally. Maybe that's what we need to do. All right, guys, whenever y'all get ready, just clear the track here. We'll start getting summed up here. Okay, and everybody kind of got quieted down here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a mental image here that should help you in the testing part of getting the adjustments made from where you are now. You've got the car now set at a base set. Any iRacing from starting from scratch. Now you know what you need to do to get the car to a point to where it's freed up it's neutral, and now we'll start giving you correct information so you can start making the proper adjustments to your driving style, whether it's tight, loose, or what have you. What I'm going to do, what I want you to do now is I'm going to give you a mental image of how the car is reacting from straightaway to corner. What I want you to do is think in your head and clear out everything inside the car, okay? All you have now is the wheels, the body, and inside that body is a flat floor, all right, and it's sitting on a flat surface on the straightaway with a marble in the center of the car. Okay, now that marble can free roll anywhere it wants to go inside on that floor, inside the car. Now, when the car goes forward, now you're going down the straightaway. When it goes into that corner and it's turning left, which way is the marble going to go? It's going to shoot right to that right front tire because the momentum and the weight of that marble is going to make that car go to that marble roll to the right front. All right. Now, as it goes through the corner, it's going to start rimming right around that right door. And when you get to that, coming off of that car and you're putting your foot on the floor, now you're adjusting that weight. That marble's going to that right rear tire. Okay. So now when you get back down and it comes off the banking and comes back into the thing, the car has, the weight has now moved up, the marble's rolled into the center of the rear and has started working its way back toward the center of the car where the car is adjusted, because remember you're higher on the rear than you are on the front, so there's lean to it. So now the marble's coming right back to the center of the car. All right, now when you go into that corner into turn 3 now, where's that marble go? Shoot, right into that right front. Now, the reason why I'm giving you that mental image is to remember each one of those corners need to be supported. The object of making these setups is to get that marble to stay as much in the center of the car no matter where it is on the track. Okay? So now that you are going into that right front, or going into that turn 1 now, that marble's wanting to shoot to that right front, you need to support that right front corner up more. So when that marble starts going up to that right front car, it's not going to go all the way to where the tire is. It's only going to go about a quarter or halfway and stay because the car is supported. Now, as you're going through the corner, that marble's not getting to that door. It's staying just right there about the center of the car and rolling back toward that right rear tire. But it's not going all the way back because now the right rear is supported. And it's keeping that marble right there in the middle of the car. So now when you come back off, the car that marble does not have as far to travel to get back to the center of the car. So now the more that marble stays in the center of the car, the more balanced it is, the more you're going to be able to give it gas and let off the gas to where the car is reacting more to the throttle and not to the weight. So there's the mental image you can keep in your head to where when you're going in and you're feeling a problem, when it's too tight going in, it's pushing up, that marble's going too far over there. You need a little bit more support. So you may not need to soften something up. You may need to stiffen something up. Okay, so that's just a mental image. Now, let me get into the garage here, and we're going to make an adjustment. And then I'm going to, before we go back out and play the rest of this, I'm going to tell you, kind of give you an idea of what to do as far as adjusting the springs and stuff. But let me get in the garage here and make sure y'all can hear me. All right, I'm in the garage. You guys hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Yeah. Okay, now we've got the setup in here. Now, remember I told you at the start of this that two things affect speed: the forward ballast and the rear track bars. Now, a lot of you guys are complaining that the car's a little tight coming off. It doesn't quite feel, like it's free enough. Well, you may have a little too much grip on those rear tires. Well, you want more speed by having higher track bars. And if the problem you're having is a little tight off, then that's absolutely perfect, because now you can start adding track bar and giving it more speed at the same time. So what we want to do now is you see those track bars are hillbillied a little bit. Remember, too high on the left, too low on the right is what southern dirt track racers or short track racers call hillbillying. what I want to do is get to where I can have a little bit more of that left rear track bar, which I'm going to take up to an 8.5, and then I'm going to take that right rear track bar and put it at a 9. Okay, there's very little split. It's not going to affect your ride heights at all, so you don't have to worry about changing that. Okay, and what that's going to do is give less resistance on the rear tires, and it's also going to make it turn from the center off better. Okay, so keep that. And that, when we go back out and you can play with this, you'll see what it done to the car and then adjust from there. So you remember what the car felt like a while ago, make that adjustment, and now when you go out and see what it does to the car, you'll know which way to go with those track bars. Okay, the only thing I want to do now before I'm going to turn you loose, just let you play the rest of the time here, which is going to be about 15, 20 minutes. That link slack up there, if you're bottoming out, you can take that link slack up. And first thing you would want to do is what you want to do is if you're bottoming out a lot, you can bring that link slack down like to a 4. And 4/16 of travel is less than 6/16 of travel. So if you're bottoming out a little bit, take that link slack to 4/16 so the front end doesn't travel quite so far. And see if that gets rid of bottoming out. But remember now, you're taking some of the adjustability out of it. So you may want to take that to a 5 at arms asymmetry. Take it to a 5 and click apply. See what it does to your link slack. Brings it up to a 13. If you kept it at 6, it should be at about a 13/16. Now, that bigger travel is going to free the car up to where it's rolling through the center good, but it's going to give you a little bit more off the corner. It's also going to free it up off the corner, which will loosen you up some. So you can take it to a 5, bring that link slack back down to, say, a 10. Okay? Now what you've done is you've slowed some of the travel down, you've left some adjustability in it, and you've also changed it to where it's a little freer through the corner. So now the setup should be at the arm symmetry at a 5, the link slack at a 10, the track bar at an 8.5 on the left, and a 9 on the right. Now that there, only thing I'm going to go over with you now is just a little bit of an oversee of what to do with these springs. Okay, you've got to save this setup or whatever you want to do. You know how to get to this point. Now when you're adjusting springs, go a corner at a time. You're already at 350 on the left front. If you want to start trying some things, go down to a 400 on the right front, and then readjust your ride height back up to where you're even or close to even up there on the front end, and go out there and see what that change done to it. See what the car reacts going in. See how it done in the center. See what it's doing coming off, because that front spring split's going to tighten it up a little bit coming off with a little less split. Okay, find out what that right front spring does to it, and then if it makes it better, go down another click or 2. See if it makes it even better. If it doesn't, come back up, save it, go to another corner. Find out what these springs do. Start with your springs, but don't get so drastic that you're making just big changes. Start with making 50-pound changes. That's what I will do. When I'm throwing changes, I'm going to make a 50-pound change from 450 to 400. Then I know if what I'm after with the car, if that done too much, I know to back it up one to go to 425, and that kind of it kind of zeroes in where I'm going. Once I get that corner right, I'm gonna start working on the other corners. Okay, and then that's the part of testing that you have to do, or that you can do now that you'll find out what's going on. If you'll just go to one corner at a time and make those changes, see what it does to the car, there you are testing. Now, what I was going to tell you a while ago, before I end this thing, where y'all can go play now, is the camber settings and stuff over the long run. When you've got the car to where it's really feeling good, man, you're top 5, top 10 in times, your times are looking good, your car is feeling really comfortable, you're able to run 15, 20 laps, and the car's, it feels like you're ready to go race now. Now you start to go, well, I'm going to go do a half to 3/4 of a fuel run, see how the car does when the weight on the fuel goes away. Now the car's getting too loose. You're losing rear end grip, okay? When you get to start losing that weight off that rear end and the fuel's going down and if the car's just getting too loose, you can adjust that with camber. If you'll take that camber, you've worked your cambers, you've got your tire spread even across, your tire wear even, add some more camber to that right front. That way, when you're going in, you'll start seeing that the inside of that right front tire is wearing more than the outside of that right front tire. What you're doing is wearing that right front tire out just a little bit quicker. So now when the car is getting loose after 25, 30 laps, the right front tire is now wearing out a little bit more, and it's sliding a little bit more. So now instead of the car getting loose over the long run, it's getting back to neutral. So now you can use those cambers to wear the tire out a little less or a little more, depending on whether the car's getting loose or tight. If it's getting a little too tight over the long run, you could and you've got your cambers to where it's wearing the inside a little more than the outside, even that camber out a little bit to where that tire lasts a little longer. That'll keep that front end grip. Okay, there's a little trick there with camber that you can use that will help you over a fuel run if it's getting too loose or too tight. Now, sometimes if it's too bad, you may have to adjust by dropping track bar a little bit, something like that. But that camber is a big deal over the long run is how much you wear that right front tire out over the course of 25, 30 laps. So go out there and play with that setup and see what it done to the car, and then you can play for the next 15 minutes. If you got any questions, go for it.
David, did you say out during the fuel run, if you're loose to add camber, and if you're tight to take some out on that right front?
Well, you got to, hang on a second. What you got to do is look at your tire wear. If your tire wear is even across the tire, or like 1% more on the inside than the outside where the camber looks good, but you're getting loose over the long run, then take a little bit of add more negative camber to where you're wearing out the inside of that tire where it's, say, over the course of 20 laps, there's a 2 or 3% more wear on the inside of that right front tire. That way that right front tire will wear out a little more and won't grab quite so much and will make you more neutral over the run.
Hey David, when you were saying the front spring split, a bigger front spring split does what?
A bigger front spring split will loosen it up coming off of the corner and tighten it up some going into the corner. So that big front spring split, I usually like to keep it within 50 pounds, 25, 50 pounds, because it gives me a good feel coming off the corner, but that's just driving style. So, I mean, you can drop that right front spring to where you got a 50-pound split, and it's going to stable you up some coming off the corner if it's too loose.
David, do you bother at all with changing the truck arm mounts on the rear?
Absolutely. The truck arm is a big adjustment. That truck arm is, if you're getting too tight over the long run, you can bring those truck arms up to the top, and that's going to loosen you up. But that's a big adjustment. I like to keep those truck arms even, and 9 times out of 10 I'll start them that way. But that's for this class, that was a little bit too big to get into. So just those truck arms I will usually make even, but as they stand right now with the way the setup is, it's a good feel to it. But it just all depends on what the car is doing as far as on entry and on exit as to what you need those truck arms at.
At what point would you go to the setup analyzer, David?
Right now, you've got the base of the setup to where it's neutral. It's got a certain feel to it. Right now is where I would take that, run 12 laps, 15 laps, and then export it to that HTML that the setup analyzer reads, send it out there, tell it how many laps you run, tell it what it's doing, bingo, you're off to the race.
Hey, David, if my front end's moving around too much, would lowering the link slack help any of that?
If your front end's doing what?
If it's just moving around too much in the turn, it's like it's not steady. It's just moving around too much. Would it be better to adjust the link slack, or would it be better to adjust the sway bar?
You'll need to test both. I would start with adjusting the arm symmetry. If it was feeling good while ago, but now it's a little unstable for you, take that arm symmetry back to where it was and get that link slack back to where it's a more neutral 0 and go from there.
So you should run 10 laps to know if the change is done, what the change done.
Yeah, I would. I never try to run less than 12. I like 12 to 15 laps, just depending on how I feel.
Hey, Cater, I've been watching this for the past 20 minutes or so, trying to get in. I appreciate what you're doing here, man. I've learned a lot more than I have in a year listening to you for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I hear you.
Me too. Hey, when you adjust your ride heights back, do you start with the left front or the right front, or how do you do that?
It all depends on which spring I move. If I move that right front spring down, I'm going to bring that right front ride height up. So I'm not going to adjust a different ride height that I had the spring. So I'm going to adjust the ride height with the spring I adjusted.
Now the ride height can be changed without unclicking attach.
Yeah, absolutely. Go out there and try it, and then if it's you can also remember you can adjust that left side ride height with those air pressures, and that brings those air pressures a little softer. It'll give you a little more control through the corners, and there you go.
Yeah, that's what I did, David.
Run it at Charlotte and see how it felt, and then I would compare it to how the basic setup for Charlotte feels. And if I feel like this one's a whole lot closer to making adjustments to make it fit Charlotte, then there you go. The 1.5 milers, this one will